What up, people? This your boy Vagabond here to give you my thoughts on Toriko Chapter 256, titled The True Enemy. And this was a great chapter. You know, it really made up for last week's chapter. I give this one a 10 out of 10 easily. One of my favorite chapters of the week. Now, let's talk about what happened in this chapter. Now, there was a lot of shit, a lot of information in this chapter. A lot of things happened in this chapter. So I'm going to try to break this shit down by parts. Let's talk about the beginning. In the beginning, they start talking about the 8 beasts, or the kings of the gourmet world, and talking about the ancestors. They start off with the ancestors, saying how the ancestors, they were the kings of the gourmet world. They were the ones that kept the balance of the ecosystem in the gourmet world, the complex ecosystem. And then that's when they start talking about the descendants, and which is the battle wolf, the mother snake, the Dharma horse, that dragon with the big ass tooth, and that crow. The crow that Coco has, the pet. Now, these gourmet beasts, they have a keen awareness to sense, you know, Earth's crust and the weather. And the sensitivity, that's their big strength, is their sensitivity. Their sensitivity is so high, like, they have great sensitivity to the point where they could sense future crises. That's how they were able to survive such a mass extinctions, because that sensitivity was such a great ability for them. So then the narrator, he actually starts talking about how these gourmet beasts, the 8 beasts, they sensed a man waking up who was very, very strong, and somebody that can threaten them. And that was Toriko that they were talking about. And we see Toriko, he's waking up, his new arm, new leg, and he's looking at the sky, and he sees the meteor spices. He has a tear in his eye, because he knows that means that Ichiru is dead, or he lost. And that's where we move on to the next scene. Now the next scene is with Kaitora and Yosaku, and they're fighting, and Yosaku, he gets his fucking arm ripped off, but then he spits on his arm, reattaches it, and punches that dude's ass in the face. And I was like, damn, this nigga's a beast, yo. That shit was raw, yo. I like that shit, yo. And so after all that happened, Kaitori looks in the sky and he sees right away, like, the what was that? He sees like the meteor spices or the damages and shit, and he knows right away that the big guys, the higher uppers, the match is over, and that's pretty much like his drum call to leave. Like, he's like, yo, you know what? I don't want to fight you no more. Fuck you. You know, my job is done. He's like, I'm not even with these motherfuckers. And what he's talking about was, he was an informant of the Bishokukai. No, of the Neo. He's actually with the Neo, and he's not with the Bishokukai. So that motherfucker right there, he snuck into the Bishokukai. Just like how the Zero Biotopy, they had their snakes. Well, he snuck into the Bishokukai, and now he's the snake of the Neo. So Neo, the organization Neo, these motherfuckers are politicking like a motherfucker, yo. Like, they got snakes in both sides, and they're just running shit. So Kaitora, he starts telling Yosaku asks him, where is the national treasure at? Which is, the national treasure dude is, I can't pronounce his name, but he's a Saiseya. He's one of the greatest Saiseyas of all time. And he has the ability to revive shit. That's how Yosaku, he knew that that beast, he knew that the beast, you know, that attacked the human world, he knew that shit was revived and it can only happen by one person. And so he asked Kaitori where that dude is at, and Kaitori said, well, he's with us now. So the Neo has a national treasure on their side now. One with special abilities too, to revive shit. So that's big. And then he also tells Yosaku that, yeah, we even got one of your underlings. And I guess he's talking about Teppei. And that's when Yosaku, he ends up getting hit by something. I don't know what the fuck it was. It looked like a tongue or some shit. But it might have been one of the dude's abilities. He gets hit. He's laid on the ground. And then you see some of the other Zero Biotopies. You know, people like the warden bug. What's her name? I forgot her fucking name. And then you see the other guys. And they're laid out. So they took a loss. I don't know if they're dead. They're probably not. Because these guys, they got high. I'm pretty sure they're going to survive. So, then we move on to Midora and Ichiro. Now, Ichiro, he's having a conversation with Midora while he's on the ground. He's telling Midora that Yobishoku Kaya has been infected. They have bugs. That's one of the reasons why I kept my group very short. Because we try to eliminate some of these bugs. And he's talking about the people who were really part of Neo. They weren't part of the Bishoku Kai. They acted like they were. They were snakes. And he's telling Midora that you got him too. And then he starts telling him the reason why he's like Akasa. He never accounted for Froza's death because all these guys are all trying to find his full course. And this full course eventually leads to the final land. In quotes, the final land. We don't know what that is. So what Acacia did was, see, in order to reach the final land, you gotta have a ship that has absolutely great skills in food luck and cooking skills. So what Acacia did was, Acacia, he planted seeds anticipating the remote worst case scenario. And that is the factor of evil, and what awoke it was none other than Midora. So Acacia, what he did was he used Midora's kindness for his weakness. And his weakness was seeing her die. And basically, what that was, now let's talk about this. Acacia, he purposely made Midora look for cure water. It was an arrangement from the beginning. And then Ichiro basically reveals that Acacia was in collusions with the Blue Nitro from the beginning. He starts saying to meet that chef when she would eventually appear again. So the true enemy is in fact Froza. Froza was the true enemy along with the Blue Nitro. And see, Acacia, he set up an arrangement. Made from the beginning with Midora to get cure water when she died. And you know how Midora, he always came back in that flashback. He always came back to pour cure water on her grave. Basically using his kindness for his weakness. And that's what made Midora a monster. Acacia knew this, that Midora was going to become an evil man. A fucked up man. So that's what Acacia did. So that Froza is in fact Froza that got revived. I don't know why she's calling herself Joa, but yeah, Acacia, that Clearwater did revive Froza, I believe, and cause she was supposed to revive, that way she can become back to the Blue Nitro, cause the Blue Nitro, they fucking need her. Because Acacia, like they say, he was in collusions with the Blue Nitro from the beginning. So they were anticipating her reappearing. So, then, what happened next is a big ass fucking Nitro comes out of nowhere. Smashes Ichiro in the fucking ground. Right in his chest. I don't know if it's his chest or his face. But he puts his foot down right in his shit, yo. Right in his shit. And I'm telling you now, if that shit does not kill Ichiro, then what the fuck can kill him? What can kill him? You actually see Ichiro's eyes closed shut. And then at the end of the chapter, it says, you see that fucking Nitro, or the Nitro. And it says Blue Nitro. Now, I don't know if that's a Blue Nitro or not. It doesn't look like it to me, but at the end it says Ichiro dies. And the shocking true form of the mastermind. So the masterminds around here are the Blue Nitro and Froza. So, what the fuck is going on, yo? Like, it's a complete mind twist. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But that was my thoughts on it, man. I really like this chapter a lot. I can't wait for next week's chapter to wrap this up. This shit's getting more and more interesting. Let me know what y'all guys think. Leave a comment. Like this video. I hope I explained everything to your liking. Try to explain it as well if I could, but leave a comment. I'll holler.